So we developed our brand voice, our brand language, we developed our logo system, we're getting a lot of visuals completed. There's one more thing we want to set up before we really get started doing some additional projects, and that's setting rules for photo usage. What photos do we use? What type of characteristics do those photos have? Is there a certain library of fixed photos we want to draw from? So photos communicate the brand's message, tone, and language as well. Make sure you explain the types of photos that will be supportive of the brand's narrative and story. Once again, going back to research to find keywords will help us define the photos we use. Create a portfolio of sample images the company can use, along with the new brand assets that we're going to be developing soon. Depending on your client's budget, this can be photos you take yourself. If you happen to have photography as a part of your skill set, great, use it. You can hire a photographer to take these new photos, and you can act as the creative director to make sure they're the way they need to be to match with brand language and with your branding so far. You can use an existing library of the client's photos. Perhaps they already have photos available, which would be really the best case scenario. You can use paid stock photography. I've done that for clients that are smaller and they don't have the budget to hire a photographer. That's okay. You can buy very nice premium stock photos. You can use free stock photos if the budget is super low, and they wouldn't be going through this process if their budget was super low. But you can find free stock photos on all the free stock photo websites I've recommended so far. So it's really good to establish rules, just like we did with everything so far, of what type of photos we choose. But also, if we hand this brand off to somebody else, they will have a rule book to follow to say, okay, the photos need to have this as the focal point. They need to have this feeling and mood and tone. So for example, for Sushi Club, these are some of the rules I established for photos. The fish featured should be clear of extra unnecessary toppings. So that's just true to what they serve and true to their product. The focal point of the photo will mostly be fresh fish, sashimi and nigiri, with less of a focus on sushi rolls, sushi rolled in seaweed called maki. So our logo does kind of present the maki, but that's the most, in America, we understand that as sushi. And that's what we do serve. But with photos, we want to really help to educate the viewer or the potential customer about this kind of new way to eat sushi, new way to Americans, where we're eating just a big, wonderful slice of raw fish. So photos are supplied in a Google Drive library, and only these photos can be used for external advertising. So we have a set amount that I selected as the brand master, I guess you could say. I've selected these 30 photos. This is a great library. If you want to add more photos, these are the rules for adding photos. And you could kind of give them a link. You could do this in the brand standards guide, giving them a link to where they can get the photo library or have it on their website in like a media PR page. Lastly, make sure to only use 2 photos in any one design. This helps photos to adhere to our higher end authentic focus. So that's a great rule. As a designer, when we do everything going forward, I know that, using 1 or 2 is acceptable, but using 5 or 6, it starts to change the way we want to present ourselves, right? The focal point's lost on the fish when you have all these different photos. A lot of restaurants tend to have billboards, and they put all their food on there, and it's just too overwhelming. They have 5 different dishes, and it kind of looks unappetizing, honestly. So we're setting those rules. So what I want you to do for the brand you're working on, or for this class project, I need you to pick about 10 to 20 different photos. You can take them yourself. You can go on pexels.com, which is what I did here. You can go anywhere to source these photos. And I want you to pick them based on the rules that you set for the photography to match the brand. And to help you select your photo choices, focus on 3 main characteristics of photos that you want them to have. Do these words align with the brand's ethos and style? So for example, I have 3. Simple, they have to be simple. Rich raw colors, so they all have to be raw fish, not cooked sushi. And professional people, so professional sushi chefs preparing it, because we really have a focus on our sushi chefs and the preparation. So preparation is another kind of keywords you could throw in there. Based on those key characteristics, when I'm looking for photos, I have that in my head. So it's going to be an easy process to find photos because I've narrowed it down so much to what I want to use. And notice there's a lot of blacks and dark colors used in the photos I selected. They all have a theme to them. They kind of have that dark background, and it kind of matches with some of our color palettes that we've been doing so far. So it's going to be very easy to integrate these photos in our designs. What's great about this is when you set these rules, not only does it make it easy for you to find these photos to use for the designs we'll do later on, but they're an essential part of a branding guidelines manual, is setting the rules for photography. So we're writing this manual as we're going through this branding process. So when we get to that point, it's not going to be a whole lot left to do, which is great. So we've set the photography rules, we've set the rules for brand language. We already have some projects under our belt. I think it's time to take a break and to put together a few more projects, because what we want to do is we want to create a couple of great projects to present so we can do a final client presentation. This will be the final presentation to say this is what we've done this entire process and get everything approved so we can send you files and kind of start to be done and to start to work on the standards manual. So the client presentations are big. So what we already have a couple of great things to present, but we want to present just a couple more to really show off the brand on real products. So I thought we would do a t-shirt design. We can do lots of different t-shirt designs, some with some slogans, some with maybe some logos. Try some different our color palette out on it. We already have our color palette done, so that'll be very quick and easy. And I want to do a delivery bag because that's going to be an important part of our restaurant. When they first start out, they're going to be delivery. They'll eventually be a restaurant, but we want to have we got a menu, we got chopstick wrappers. Let's do a bag. So let's do a bag, t-shirt, and then we're going to put this all together, everything that we've done, to present it to the client. But not only that, we are going to craft this into a presentation that we could put on our portfolios so we can show it off. So if you're doing this as a mock company, something you're doing for fun, it's not a real client, we can end up having a wonderful portfolio presentation of everything you've done so far so you could put it on your portfolio and get that client. That's what I want this class to all be about, is helping you get clients, land clients, and get bigger clients. So we're going to focus on that next.